Hey everyone, and welcome to another Yogi Misfit Session. I'm Danny Pomploon, and I'm your host. Today we have Nat Kendall on the show. Nat is a yoga teacher here in San Francisco. He is also a musical masterman, and I would say he's pretty well known in San Francisco for being like the chanting guru. So Nat,
Whoa.
welcome to the show.
Hey, Danny. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, how's it going?
It's going well. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. It's a good day to be alive in San Francisco.
Amen.
Yeah, chanting guru. You like that?
Yeah, that's kind of bold, but hey, I'll do what I can.
Well, when we were talking about you, when your name came up, and actually it was someone was hounding me about chanting, and I'm not. So for everyone listening out there, I'm not a big chanter. People have tried to get me to chant, and I've got this thing where I don't like the way I sound when I chant, and I've never gotten into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone was like, "You need to talk to Nat. He'll get you chanting. You'll see. He'll crack you open."
Oh, I love that. All right, well, we got work to do.
That was Peter Walters, by the way.
Of course. Oh, Peter.
So, welcome to the show, man. I'm super pumped to have you on and to chat a little more about you and about chanting. And if you guys are lucky, you might get me to chant today.
All right.
So, Nat, why yoga for you?
Why yoga?
Yeah,
Wow, what a question. Why not?
I know, exactly.
I think yoga has, you're talking about being cracked open and stepping into new experiences. Yoga's done all of that for me. It's allowed me to come into full awareness of my body, my breath, mind, thoughts, heart, everything about it, and keeps me grounded, keeps me balanced, keeps me inspired, keeps me connected. So many reasons. Everything.
Yeah.
Yoga, yes.
How long have you been practicing yoga?
I feel like a lifetime at this point, but with knowing it as yoga and kind of the structure of yoga, I'd say in the last 10 years. I really got into it down in Santa Cruz. I was surfing all the time, and then yoga caught me, and I kind of like felt like I could catch the same experience, the same flow of things from surfing in a yoga class, and
Sure.
it just it went from there, man. I've been devout since then, every day.
That's awesome. I first started practicing, actually, the reason I didn't want to do it, and I took a couple classes, but then I would go hang out with my surfing buddies, and they talked about yoga, so it just gave us something else to talk about while we were how it's like sitting out there waiting for waves.
Yeah,
So we would just talk about oh, we went to so and so's class, and it was pretty awesome, man. It was we totally our balance is way better, bro.
Exactly.
And it was really big in San Diego as well. It was huge out there in Encinitas specifically. Huge surfing community and huge yoga community out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So you started practicing about 10 years ago, and I know you teach yoga. I ran into you a few times over at Grace Cathedral, Darren Main's class, and we both did assisting stuff there, and I didn't know that you actually did the musical side of it. I know you work, your daytime job is at a music company, or a company that does stuff for music. And then I kind of started seeing you in the studios, and you'd always be walking out with some instrument, or a drum, or or I would catch you taking down a mic set or something. So you do chanting as well, or better describe that for me. Help me out with that.
Yeah, so I'd been a yogi for the last 10 years, and I've also been a musician for what feels like all of my life as well. And I wasn't really familiar with bhakti and chanting and mantra and all that stuff until I met Rusty Wells. And all of a sudden it was like this complete explosion of my music world and yoga world just coming together in perfect union. Yeah, and I just felt like, oh, I'm home. This is
Right.
it, man. Yeah, music and yoga, here they are. They exist together. And it's really expanded a lot since then. I would say I first got into chanting with Rusty, and I was trying to think the other day what it was like in that first class when I first heard, 100 plus people chanting along with him, And I don't remember what it was like, but I'm sure it was, a mixed kind of thing where it was like, what is this?
Sure.
What am I doing here? What are they saying? What does it mean? But it captured me. It totally captured my heart, and I wanted to know everything about it, and I wanted to dive right in, and that's what I've been doing. And since then, I've been by Rusty's side playing drums and chanting and helping him facilitate his teacher trainings. I've done a couple of Jai Uttal's kirtan camps and really got a chance to dive into his practice of bhakti and how he shares it. And now it's really opening up, and I'm finding more and more opportunities to share this amongst our community here in the Bay and then way beyond all over the place. And I love it.
Yeah, you've been doing some travels for it, if I'm not mistaken, right? You've been like going around to like different. I think you were at like some yoga festival recently doing stuff for it.
Yeah, I was down in Bhakti Fest in September and got a chance to play with a couple teachers down there, one of them being Janet Stone, of course, which was a complete honor. And it's so rich, to bring in a live musical element to a class. And especially for me, I know the vinyasa so well. I've been practicing for so long. And I'm also, I'm very connected to the music. So I can kind of weave this in to the class experience and work with the crescendos and the down moments and help create a synergy between the student, the teacher, and the music. And I love it.
So, from what I know of you, you're definitely like every time I see you, you've just got so much love, and there's a lot of you've just got such a really bright personality, and I feel like anyone that encounters you will experience that as well. Do you think that the chanting has had that kind of effect on you, or the more you learn about it, you've kind of you've I mean, it's the bhakti, it's the devotion. Do you think that has like a giant effect on you?
Oh, profound. Absolutely, in every way. And even though I've been a musician for most of my life, um, it was coming from a much different aspect. I was touring in punk bands and reggae bands,
Wait,
ska
what?
bands, yeah,
This
hip
is
hop
news.
bands. I mean, I've played with the Wu-Tang, Black Alicious, Michael Franti. I've played all kinds of stuff, man. But it was in a different point in my life. It was a different realm. There was a lot more, I hate to say it, but there was like an egoic pursuit to music and kind of performing and what that meant. And then all of a sudden, I got to sit back and just offer up these songs to the divine, to a class, to the teacher. And all of that was removed. And something cracked open inside me. There was a newfound freedom and liberation to express this, creative outlet of mine with music and voice. So yeah, it's changed everything, man. Just being able to sing every day, just tapping into that vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yeah, it opens up everything. I feel
That
like it's in all my relationships now.
That seems to be, I mean, from everyone that I know that's a big chanter and that that enjoys it. It's just there seems to be a real big, I guess you would call it like like a big piece of the heart, if that's a way to describe it. And there's just some kind of joy that comes over when people actually get the chant, and I've seen that, I've experienced that. I've been in a room with a few hundred people chanting, and it's super cool. I think for me, I just I don't know. I never got into it, and I always thought I've got this like such a deep voice, and, and I feel like when if I try to like do anything else but talk, it's just like,
Oh man,
which
we'll get you through that. I
which
mean,
isn't a great sound.
yeah, but that's the beauty of it. You begin to find a more full spectrum in your own voice, and you begin to tap into something that you hadn't experienced before. And like I said, it's so vulnerable. And
Right.
when you become vulnerable, when you open up to something and you can set aside your own self-judgment and fears and insecurities about it, man, you tap into something that's way bigger than you. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden, you join your voice with whoever else is in the room, and it expands from there. And your voice lifts up your neighbor's voice, and then it keeps happening, and it keeps happening. And you walk out of the studio, and you find yourself in the grocery store singing or on the bus, it keeps unfolding. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful, man. Let's get you
Yeah.
chanting. Come on.
Yeah. They keep trying. They keep
uh,
trying. So,
at the end of the day, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you.
yeah, I just, I think, I don't know. I mean, maybe I haven't given it a good, old, honest effort. I want to go back into, kind of what you were saying. So let's talk a little bit more about the actual chanting and where it stems from and what's actually happening when you are chanting and what these chants are about. Like, let's demystify it a little bit, because I know, like you were saying, like, well, what are these words and what are people saying and why are they doing this? Like, where does that come from or where does that stem from?
Hmm. Yeah, those are all great questions, and it would be really nice to demystify this because then that does create an opening for people to step into it that may have shied away from it initially.
Sure.
Yeah, so, chanting in its essence, the majority of these chants are calling out to God, to the divine, however you want to call it,
Sure.
however you make peace with that. People have a lot of different ways to approach that. And they're a huge part of bhakti, which is the yoga of devotion. And when I think of the yoga of devotion, I think of Ishwara Pranidhana, surrender, deep surrender to that which is, to what is right here in front of me. And when I open up my mouth and I sing out and I call out and I am completely unattached to what happens next, to how it sounds, or to what needs to happen, then all of a sudden I'm free. I have utilized this tool of chanting to find a moment of liberation.
Mm.
And there's nothing that I hold on to. So, with this chanting, however you want to make sense of it, find your own peace, but you're essentially calling out to something bigger than yourself. And in that, you find a way to connect with others and connect with that vastness. Now, there are thousands and millions of different chants. There's over 33 million different Hindu gods and goddesses, and we call out to many and many of them in their different forms, and we call out to them, perhaps to try and invoke some of their characteristics, some of their archetypes. Shiva, the Lord of transformation, the one who brings one cycle to an end so another can start again.
Mm.
So you can call out to these different ideas and ideals and see if that moves you. And maybe at the end of the day, the only thing is just the power of voice and vibration itself that transforms something inside you. Maybe the abstract ideas behind who these um, formations of the divine are, maybe that doesn't resonate. But
Right.
just to open the voice is powerful enough.
Well, I think that I mean, you make a really good point. Like, they all have, whether you're calling out to a deity or not, that you can call out to its characteristics. So whether it's, like a starting of the new or removing of obstacles or, whatever it is, that there's a metaphor behind all that. There's meaning behind every single one of them. And I think you can pull those poetic meanings into your everyday life.
Yeah, exactly. And many of the melodies, will help represent that. You can hear it in a lot of the Shiva chants. There's this, it's almost, some of them are minor, and they're like this sorrow behind it, but they create such beautiful opening. Or if you sing to Krishna and Ram, they have more of these kind of melodic, upbeat, major melodies to them, and they may evoke more of that kind of ecstatic bliss and just, full presence right here, right now, and joy and ananda.
What do you say to someone that maybe wants to start chanting and it's a little bit nervous and it's still kind of, again, they don't know what they're saying and they're kind of like, what is this? Like, how do you what's your elevator speech for them?
Hmm. Well, first of all, I say, I started just like that. I didn't know what any of this meant, and I wasn't sure how it felt for me to be singing this, but I began to open myself up to it, even if it's just an om, and feeling what it was like to sing within a group and to be supported and be held, it began to open up more and more. And then as I started to hear about the different Hindu mythology and the tales and the folklore, I became kind of enraptured by it. And if you're familiar with the term svadhyaya, which is self-study
Mm-hmm.
or study of the scriptures, I started, like you were saying, I started seeing all these different conceptual things within each of these mantras in these chants, and they started making sense to me in ways that felt relevant to what I was going through.
That's good.
So yeah, so I would say explore that and start with really simple chants and find just one that resonates with you, even if it's one that is maybe less focused on a specific deity. For example, Loka Somasta Sukhino Bhavantu, which a lot of people can get behind because it's not necessarily calling out to God, but it's calling out and saying, may all beings everywhere be happy and free. It's easier to get behind something like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've heard a few. Actually, that's one of Martin and Susanna and Stephanie and a few other people's. Like I've heard that one a lot. I learned a lot about that one just from hearing it through my social circle, and I think it is a powerful message. It's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So super big confession. I sometimes do Om in class. Very seldom.
Whoa, whoa, cat's out of the bag.
Very seldom, but sometimes I'm just like feeling it, and it's a great way to bring everyone kind of back down and back into center, and kind of get us all to that same spot.
With that low voice.
Yeah, right.
That
Hey,
it sounds great.
we're about to Om.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Right? Seriously, the Barry White of Oming.
Hey, use it to your benefit,
Is
man.
that right? I think I got a new market. What then this might be a tough question. What is your all-time favorite chant?
Hmm. Yeah, that is a tough question because it changes from minute to minute, from breath to breath. I know so many of them at this point that I kind of just sit down and see what comes out of me, and that's the one that I'm in love with at that
That
moment.
that's totally fair. Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
asking someone what their favorite movie is. You can't ask me that. I have like 5 million of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do, I mean, if you're cool with it, let's do just like what's a quick, easy, accessible chant?
Okay, I'll share one with you. This is the one that I usually play if I walk into a studio to teach, and I know that people aren't that familiar with chanting.
Okay.
All right, I've actually got my harmonium in here.
Oh, yes.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can totally hear it.
All right, cool. So the words to this one are Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
All right.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And the melody is very simple. You'll catch on quick. And are you going to sing back?
Oh man,
Ah,
you can't see me right now, but I'm turning like bright red and I'm nervous, but I'll try. I'll try. So it's Shri Ram, Jai Ram,
Jai Jai Ram.
J J Ram. Oh my God. Okay. All right.
Do you want
This
to
is
do
happening.
We could just ohm.
All right. We'll Om.
Okay, we're going to ohm 3 times to start. And
Okay.
then we're going to go into the chant.
All right.
All right, deep inhale. Aum. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Are you still there, Danny?
I'm still there.
Are you singing?
Oh man, I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm
can't hear you,
enjoying the
man.
music.
All right, try one with me, okay? I'll call
All right,
one and then call the other one back with me. I'll support you fully, all right?
all right, all right.
Here we go. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram
Jai
Jai Ram
Ram
Jai
Jai Jai
Jai
Ram.
Ram. You got me to chant, Nat. You got me to chant.
And you know what? It was beautiful. Let's do it again. Here we
All
go.
right. One more.
Okay, I'll call one, you call it back.
All right.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
That was beautiful, man. You have a lovely voice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's that's one way to crack me open. Yeah, I'm seriously like I wish you could see. I wish everyone that's listening could see me right now. I'm like bright red, and I've totally got like the nervousness in me. Like,
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad we could do that together then.
that's awesome, man.
No, but here's the deal, man. Like, like all of this, you find a little edge, and then you move a little bit beyond it, and you test out your comfort zone, and then you kind of retreat back and you reassess. This is like everything in our practice. How we build all the poses, you find your edge, you test it out, you dance with it for a moment, and then you come back. I guarantee you what we just did will crack you open a little bit more for chanting.
All right, we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna try to be a little more open to it, and maybe it's just it's my own thing. I gotta just get over it. As Peter says, actually, he's like, we're gonna crack you open, buddy. We're gonna crack you open. So now, man, it's been such a pleasure to have you on today, man. It was great to hear you. Actually, that sounded amazing. That sounded it was out of this world. I wasn't expecting the harmonium to come in the background. That was great.
Oh yeah, everywhere I go.
So that's awesome. I know you got a lot going on, and I know that you have tons of offerings, and like I said, I always see you either carrying a drum or a harmonium or a microphone, or you got
all of the above.
Yeah, all at once. So if people wanted to follow you or find out what you're doing and when you're doing it, I know you're doing a retreat to Hawaii. Where could they find out more information?
Yeah, I've got a lot going on. The best resource is just my website, which is natkendall.com. You can find everything there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Find me out there.
Okay.
I'm playing at Yoga Tree Castro with Janet Stone and Julie Locke quite a bit. It's a very sweet experience, to be in that big studio and everybody kind of opens up. And, man, it's so full of chanting in there.
Awesome.
I'm doing kirtan stuff all over the Bay Area and beyond. I've got some recordings on my website. So if you want to pick up some of the chanting, it's all for free. It's donation based. Grab it, listen to it, allow it to get inside you and see what that feels like. And then, I've got a couple retreats coming up. Peter Walters will be doing a Hawaii retreat. I'm going to be the musical components of that. So for 6 days, we're going to be on the Big Island in Hawaii, doing a lot of bhakti flow, a lot of philosophy, storytelling, chanting. I'm really excited for that. And then this summer, I'll be in Montana at a beautiful location called the Feathered Pipe Ranch. And I'll be offering up a retreat there. It'll be a ton of bhakti, a lot of vinyasa, great food, beautiful place, a lot of community. So, please just find me, reach out to me. I'm around. I love sharing this practice. I'm here to help bring it to more people. So.
Awesome, man. And I'll make sure for everyone listening out there, I'll put his website and his social stuff down in the comments section. Well, like I said, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and I'm still bright red.
I wish I could see it.
I'll send you a little picture of my face right now.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to say to the listeners before we take off?
Just stay open to it. See what's on the other side. Explore that edge, and if you find that it doesn't work, cool, back down. Otherwise, dive in deep and see what's there.
Awesome. Thanks for everyone for listening, and until next time, this is Danny and Nat. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Haribol.